Let it not be said that our own organization discriminates against short people. Ladies and gentlemen, about 20 years ago, I received a phone call on a Sunday afternoon from a student at the University of Oxford where I served as rabbi, and he said, "I have to come and see you immediately, it's an emergency." A few minutes later, he was huffing and puffing. He ran from Magdalen College, Oxford, to my office at Carfax, the ancient Oxford city center, and he said to me, "I am furious." I said, "What has so upset you?" He said, "The Doctor of Divinity, which is Oxford's fancy title for a chaplain, told me that although I was not raised a Jew, I don't know that I'm a Jew, I don't consider myself a Jew, I'm a Jew because my mother's Jewish." I said to him, "Why are you blaming me? I had nothing to do with this. Ask your mother." He said to me, "I've researched this. You cannot claim me for something that I don't want to be part of. I've discovered that you have it in your power to excommunicate me." So I looked at him and I said to him, "Let me be clear. No Jew has been excommunicated since the great philosopher Benedict de Spinoza in the 17th century. So go home, take 2 aspirins, call me in the morning." He said, "I'm not leaving here until you excommunicate me." I said, "Let me be clear. We Jews charge $100 for circumcisions, $200 for bar mitzvahs, $300 for weddings, and $400 for excommunications." He said, "Why so steep?" I said, "Because it costs more to get out than it does to get in." This is actually a true story, somewhat embellished, but a true story. He said, "I'm not leaving until you excommunicate me." And my friends, I took out my laptop, I typed out, "I, Rabbi Shmuley Boteach, hereby excommunicate you and all your progeny, now, henceforth, forevermore." And then I said, "That'll be $400, please." He looked at me and said, "Do you have a student discount?" I handed him a worthless piece of paper as he walked out of my office, and I said, "Not so fast." I said, "I didn't charge you anything, so you owe me the answer to the question." He said, "I know the question." "Why?" I said, "Correct. Why was it so urgent to be cut off from the Jewish people? Why was this such an emergency that when you discovered that you're part of an ancient people, although you didn't choose to be part of that people, why was it so urgent?" And my friends, his words have haunted me for more than 2 decades. He walked back to my desk and he said to me, "You are a silly man." Why? You ask me why I don't want to be part of the most hated nation in history? Why I don't want to be part of a nation that was gassed and burned to death and turned into ash and expelled and forcibly converted? Why don't I want to be part of the most persecuted people? I am a historian, he said, and I have learned about how the Romans ruled, how the Greeks philosophized, how the Incas conquered, and how the Jews died. And I had a premonition that I would never see this student again. And I never did. I would later meet his mother at a literary party in London a few years later, but I never saw the student again. So whatever I said had to stay with him. And I said to him, "You're correct. You're a historian. You have read about how the Romans ruled. You have learned about how the Greeks philosophized. You have studied about how the Incas conquered. But when you wanted to meet a Jew, you didn't open a history book. You picked up the damn phone because I'm still here. Am Yisrael Chai. We are forever. We are an eternal people. There is nothing that can crush us. There is nothing that can deny us. And there is nothing that can obliterate us. Not a Hitler, not a Torquemada. We're invincible. Not because we're smarter than other people. Although listening to me, if you beg to differ, and not because, As they taught at Oxford, the Jews are so successful because of survival of the fittest. All the dumb Jews got killed. Talk about a truly offensive theory, but that's taught in universities around the world. We have survived because of our values, because of what we believe in, because of Jewish values, the World Values Network. We seek to be a light to the world with our values. And the highest of which is life. People ask me how I, as an Orthodox rabbi, how I, as a religious Jew, with an abundance of facial hair and not an uncommon physique. Shmuley, what are you doing inviting Caitlyn Jenner as an honoree? Do you know the Torah's laws about LGBT, about trans? And you know what my response to them is? And I saw all the hatred on Facebook. I saw all the hatred on Twitter. We, the Jews, believe that every human being, regardless of lifestyle, agree, disagree, ethnicity, religion, every human being is created equally in the image of God. And we see the spark of the divine in every individual. And we will insist on that. And I love my Muslim brothers and sisters, but I will not accept that a gay man or a trans woman should be put in a cage and burned alive. I will not accept that Iran, a country from whence my father stems in Isfahan, should take a gay man and hang him from a crane when he has hurt no man, to do it solely for who he is. No, my friends, I shall thunder and I shall quake against that kind of abomination and injustice. I am a Jew and I worship the God of life. There is no death God in my religion. Muslim, Jew, agnostic, atheist, Democrat, Republican, American, non-American. We are all God's children. For shame that we cannot see it. You know, this past summer, and by the way, I am very conscious of the fact that we are now running 30 minutes behind, and I'm going to end on time tonight. My dear friend Michael Steinhardt, the foremost Jewish philanthropist in the country, along with our dear friends Sheldon and Miriam Adelson, told me he's going to give me $50 million if I end on time. Is that correct, Michael? Or was it $100 million? I can't remember. So I'm really going to keep this brief. I'm only going to speak for another 90 minutes. I believe that we have to, which is a Jewish 5 minutes. Do you know, my friends, I wanted to go to Bialystok, Elisha Wiesel, Elie Wiesel's son, my soul friend who just bestowed the Elie Wiesel Awards, and what an honor it was for you and me, Elisha, to bestow your father's named award on Yoni Netanyahu and Taylor Forrest. Taylor Forrest's parents are here tonight, and we gave it to the Prime Minister of Israel today. And Elisha, God bless you for being here this evening, and how much we miss your father who attended every one of our galas. And Elisha was the keynote speaker at the March of the Living in front of 15,000 people at Auschwitz, and I was his guest. And after that was over, I took my children to Bialystok, which is an hour from Lomzha in Poland, where my grandfather's from. And I wouldn't be here right now if he didn't emigrate to the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And in Bialystok, in June 1942, they took 2,000 Jews and they put them in the great synagogue and they burned them alive. It was right in the center of town, and I'm looking everywhere for where this terrible tragedy transpired. And we ask one Polish man, one Polish woman, where's the site of the synagogue? There's a famous memorial, they can't tell us. Suddenly a police officer walks over and says, "Ma nishma, hakol beseder?" A Polish police officer. He speaks to us in Hebrew. I said, "Where did you come from?" He said, "I trained with the Israeli police in Jerusalem." I said, "You are a messenger of God. Where is the memorial to the great synagogue that was burned with 2,000 Jews inside in June 1942? He walked us there, and I saw the cupola, the only thing that remains. And I saw he was solemn and silent as he watched us pray. And as we walked away, I stopped another Bialystok citizen and I said, I know there's a Jewish cemetery in the center of town. Do you know where it is? And he went white and he pointed across the street at a park. And he said, the cemetery today is a park. And I'm so sorry. And I saw the look of shame on his face. He couldn't even look me in the eye. He had done nothing wrong. Today's Poles are not guilty of the Holocaust. He was ashamed that children played where Jews had died. What happened to our shame when we betray our values and our convictions? Humiliation is where someone else takes away your dignity. You feel that they drive a fancier car, live in a better neighborhood, and they've maybe climbed the social ladder, but shame is where you betray your own convictions, your own values. We are the United States of America. Where is the shame as we assail and attack each other? Where is the shame as we have no unity, no brotherhood? I'm a child of divorce. This nation became my family. The Jewish community has prospered as never before. Where is the shame as we have no love? Where is the love, my friends? And where are those to call us out for it? When white supremacists march and say the Jews will not replace us, I want to grab them by the collar and say, God, man, do you know what you're saying? Do you know that in September of 42, Chaim Rumkovsky, the head of the Lodz ghetto, got up in front of 30,000 Jews and he said, the SS gave me 24 hours to turn over your 10,000 children under 10 or they'll murder everyone. And he gave the most infamous speech of the Holocaust and he said, brothers and sisters, turn over your children. And the next morning there was a wave of suicides throughout the Lodz ghetto. And I want to grab these men in Charlottesville, my fellow Americans, and I want to say, do you know what you're saying? Where is the shame? Where is the shame? But the flip side of shame, as I conclude, is gratitude. The human capacity to be touched by the kindness of a stranger. I have immense gratitude to President Obama amidst all of my disagreements with him over the catastrophic nuclear agreement, because on the 2nd of July, 2 years ago, when I sat with Alicia and his mother Marion and my daughter and my you'll hear about my wife in a moment because we have a special moment coming up. We waited 9 hours after Alicia told us his father passed away. What honor you showed your father that day. You refused to put out a statement because it was Shabbat, and your father was the most famous Jew who walked the earth, and you would not desecrate the Shabbat. But President Obama is not Jewish, not bound by the same laws, and the president put out a statement and he said, today we lost the conscience of the world. And that president with whom I sparred so much earned a permanent place in my heart when he called Elie Wiesel the conscience of the world. A Jew from Romania. And therefore tonight, I show gratitude and I pay homage. I say thank you and I celebrate President Donald Trump for recognizing the eternal city of Jerusalem as Israel's eternal capital. I thank our president for his courage to stand with the Jewish people. The first president with a Jewish daughter, the first president with Jewish grandchildren, a president who has chosen a Jewish secretary of the Treasury, who I saw 3 hours ago on CNN, and here he is at our table. God bless you, Secretary Steven Mnuchin. I will never be afraid to show gratitude. I thank Sean Spicer for changing the dialogue in the White House to show that Israel has a friend and the most important address on the face of the earth. I thank Caitlyn for standing up for human rights wherever and whenever they are. And I want to end with a little story that Caitlyn told me. We were sitting at your beautiful mountaintop in Malibu which I understand was recently ceded to me and my children. God bless you, Caitlyn. And I said, show me your gold medal. And she said, you really want to see it? I said, see it? I want to take it. This is a true story. Caitlyn then led me through an alcove and a room and the attic, 50 rooms, until I found a drawer filled with tchotchkes. And she rummaged through and she found the gold medal that I remember. I was 10 years old, because I'm 25 now. And I was 10 years old. America was fighting the Soviet Union. They were our mortal enemy. We didn't know if we could beat them, and you eviscerated them. And you gave every American such immense pride. You destroyed them. And I used to see Caitlyn on the box of Wheaties, and I'd say, but for the grace of God, there go I. And Caitlyn pulled out this beautiful gold medal that said the Olympiad in Montreal. And I said to you, why is it here, hidden away in so many alcoves and chambers? And you said to me, because I am the parent of 10 children. That's one more than me, by the way. You got me. You got me on the gold medal, you got me on the kids. But I got you on the facial hair. You said to me, because if it was up on the wall, my kids would feel that they'd have to earn one of those to be important. And they're already special. We're all already special, with or without the money, young or old, the right religion, the wrong religion, right lifestyle, wrong lifestyle. That's the message of tonight. We are all God's children. And God bless America for promoting that message that every human being is of equal dignity and importance. And God bless the state of Israel for being the one country in the Middle East that espouses that glorious Jewish message. Israel is the light, my friends. At 70, Israel, may you be forever young. May you forever inspire. And may you forever uplift all the nations of the world for freedom, democracy, and justice.